Today, I will modify the Lego Goat boat in order to build a new Viking village. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with set 76208 from Thor Love and Thunder, the Goat boat. I get my hands on this set not long ago. I built it. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I thought it could be still a good set and good parts to use for some modifications. Here we have the minifigures that are pretty cool, but we are not going to use them over here. Instead, I'm going to bring in my new goat boat. So, what I did over here is build it and take some parts out. So I took out the cabin that was at the top. I took out some elements on the side, and I also decided to shrink it down in both width and length. So this is the final result of those modifications. You can see I took out the parts like this. So there are 4 of those, 2 on each side. And I also took out 2 more of these. So there are 4 of these panels on each side. I removed 2 so that these can get shorter. And I also decided to shrink this middle area from 2 studs to 1. This so that the boat is not as wide. And now is a little bit more wobbly, but is a boat, so I don't mind that at all. The modification of the base require me only, I think, maybe around 20 of my own parts, but then of course everything that is on top that come from my own collection. So what I did here is put some plate and tile everything off. Here is everything fairly common parts, and then here I build this mast with regular round 2x2. Over here I added some Technic parts so that I can add this structure over here, and to keep these are not sail, these are just regular like squarish kind of cloth pieces. I connect them on one side. I didn't want to think too much about connecting over there, so I just put an elastic band on both sides. These are all Lego elements to make it look like the sails are up and this boat is dock over there at the village. Now, I added this rope just to give a little bit more details. In reality, I don't really like this much, but you don't have the right size of rope to make it on both sides. So a little bit of compromise there. Then I have to shift one of the shields at the back, and I added a blue flag on top because it's in the color scheme of the shields. Now here I decided to add some details. So I'm gonna add some shipment, something on top of this boat. Let me see if I can find the stud over here somewhere. Okay, like so. I'm also gonna add some of these now I don't get the name in English, but you know what I mean, even if I don't tell you the name. Now it doesn't come to my mind. And of course this is a goat boat, so we still need to have the goats. Not the one in the set, but the nice one that Lego produces. So here we have my shrink down boat. Then what happened to those goats from the set? Well, I didn't like them at all, but here probably the designer have some constriction in terms of what number of parts can be used. I tried to modify it, adding some sort of fur on the side, but it would have to re-engineer everything and the piece count would become much bigger. The only modification I did is, for example, to change the 1x1 technique to a 1x1 snot brick so that I don't have the sticking part on the side with those bars that run through the middle. Anyway, I scrapped that, and also this is what left of the sticker sheet. So you can see that I used the shields. The rest I kept because maybe I can use it for some future mocks. You never know. But the shield, I think, are something that can always be used anytime. Funny part that there was 2 printed parts in this and was the face of the ship. I don't know why the decision. To me would be much more useful to have the shields printed because they can be reused by anyone, adults and kids as well. But I don't know what we're gonna do with those 2 printed slope for the ship. But again, we don't know what's the design choices and what's the restriction that the designer have when doing this. Now here is what I did with the rest of the parts. So I wanted to build a village. So the first thing I did is to keep this cabin. So I didn't do any modification to this cabin other than adding a couple of generic doors and some snow on the top. Here I have this little rocky landscape with a little bit of snow here and there. Again, this is not a structure nicely done like in an official set, but I just throw in whatever parts I had available. So if you look at the back side as well, you can see that the structure is not completed. So in an official set, you will have the proper structure, and also this panel are not connected very well. So if I pull too hard, they will come out. But again, this demonstrates what you can do with your own parts. Okay. One other modification I wanted to do this. So this has the same function as the set. It can be open, but because there's a little bit of gap there, I thought maybe I can add a little bit of detail over there. I just need to find a way to put it inside without messing up the snow. There we go. So here we have a little bit of detail over there. And now let's add something. I added already a couple of barrels over there. We can have some wooden logs over here. I build a small dock here at the front, a little bit on an angle. So this is not another solid build, but I think it looks a little bit nicer if it comes out on the side. And over here we can also add a seagull. At the front here, I'm going to add some fishes. I think in the original Viking Village Lego Ideas, there was something similar to this. And then I recycled this banner that I use in my windy snow vignette that won the category, the natural phenomenon category of the Classic Castle contest. I recycle it over there. And later we are going to add also this tree that I recycled from there, kind of, even though I make it a little bit bigger. I added some snow on top, and I mix up the green because I didn't have enough of the dark green to make it taller. So I just mix it up a little bit. This is going to go at the back. But again, here you can see these nice slopes work very well, but even with the small one, you can create some very nice texture with just random parts. Whatever you find in your collection in terms of slopes work. And you can have corner slope, straight slope, curve slope, anything works. Now, here I have a big empty space because I wanted to build one additional building. So this one comes from the set. The boat mostly come from the set. Here is what I created with the rest. So I have a base here. I left it open back. There's no interior, but it's something that potentially can be done. Some of those modified bricks came from the set, so you can actually repurpose that if you want. And the key thing for me here was to use again this part that I took out from the boat. So the structure at the front is gonna be the entrance. So here we have a door over there. I'm gonna add this to a bracket, and then this is gonna connect with the rest of the structure over here. Again, don't expect here a proper connection like in an official set, but here we are working with the parts that we have available. Now, of course, now that I'm on camera, somehow it doesn't connect. Okay, that should be it. Then I have two more of these, and my idea is to create a similar structure then on the top. Now, in my collection, I have a few slopes that align inside with this one, but the only color that kind of worked to me was this dark orange. The problem is that that's another kind of slope. So on the interior, it will be a little bit weird, and all this structure, because I don't have many parts in dark orange, is not very solid. But again, I try my best to make it a little bit more structurally sound. This also connects on the top. It looks a little bit like a old man face kind of thing, but I think it kind of works. Here I just added some random parts to create a effect of a masonry brick, and again on top we have details and snow. This pillar and this one help me to keep everything a little bit more sturdy. Couple of windows there at the front, and now I need to add a roof. So for the roof, I wanted to recycle these two panels that came from the boat. So of course this is a weird structure with some gaps that I have to do. If you don't have to use these parts, then everything will be much easier. You can put a plate and add some details, and everything will be much easier. Again, here is the only parts that I have are these not coming on both ways. So it doesn't really work very well in terms of design because I cannot add details in that corner because of that. But again, trying to make the best use of what I have on my building table. Now, I just need to add a little bit more details over here. Potentially, if you add interior, you can still play with it. So I did a very simple solution. I'm using some hinge plates over here. Again, basic plates, tile, no? And this is gonna connect to this side and go there. And you can just take it out like this because it's only 2 studs. So it gives a little bit of that extra playability with fairly regular and basic paths. And I can just pick it up like this, is fairly solid. Now, to find the connection over there, instead of looking at some weird angle, I make it even easier. I only added one jumper there because, again, this is not an official set. This is just a display, or it could be even a play set. Very simple and straightforward. Just connect to one stud over there. And here I have my completed village with my boat on the side. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the last detail to add is the tree at the back that gives a little bit of a pop of color, and we can also add a couple of minifigure. Here you can see I have this Viking minifigure, that is the only one I have, and here is the shield that I like better. Of course, those would be much better printed. This is actually like the bottom part over here, so this is the same part in a different color, to which then there is a round 2x2 with a sticker on it. Anyway, here I have my Viking, and to go along with that, I also have the Barbarian that I think it kind of works as a Viking. I did a very nice habitat for this one that I recommend you to go and check out. Is not too long ago, even though there's been a few series after that. And here is my finished design. By the way, if you want to take a nicer picture of this, you can just add a bunch of all these different, this one also come from the set, you can add this as well. You can make some water all around it without using plates. It don't have a blue base plate. Then you can just scatter it around, and here is the picture that I took, you saw in the thumbnail as well, with all the water around it. Now, let me know in the comments what you think about this sort of modification that I did over here. In the description, you will find link to support the channel in terms of membership and in terms of affiliate link to Amazon US. Please stay tuned for future video. I have some more habitats coming up next week. And if you want to see some sort of modification like this one, I highly recommend you to go and check out my modification of the Lego Yellow delivery truck that I downsized in order to expand the Lego brand store. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week. Ciao, ciao.